Okay, I hope this works, because this is going to be take 2. And if you're hearing this, then that means this take worked. Alright, I've already said this once, so I'm going to have to say it again. It's been a while, huh? 1 month. In case you're wondering, I did watch Purgatory 1B, and I wouldn't be making like a sort of like a review kind of thing on Purgatory 1, the first episode. Maybe that'll be out by the end of the month. I don't know. But oh boy, 3 months since the last episode. Look. All right, it's coming. Like, it's really long. It's over an hour long. It's like a little over an hour long. So maybe like an hour and 5 minutes is what I'm aiming for. It's long. Maybe you may think that for this kind of series, that's very unnecessary. And to that I say I know, but I'm doing it anyway. 6 months was when I started this. That is pretty crazy. But what I thought while we wait for this, because yeah, I hope that it will be out by the 5th episode will be out in 2 weeks. Hopefully, that's what I'm aiming for. Unless, I pull a greeny guy and announce it'll be out by the end of the month, and now it's a new year with no update. I mean, at least I think it's no update. I don't know. I'm not gonna check mid-recording, but I thought while we wait to fill your insatiable content void, that I would react to my own series, which I know is kind of weird. But this is gonna be sort of like a director's cut kind of thing. I'm giving my own commentary on what's going on, sort of explain some stuff, and sort of just talk about it a little bit. Now, I thought this first episode would only get like 100 views, and when it reached 100, I was like, okay, it's not gonna go anywhere. But then it reached 1,000. And then it reached 2,000. And now it's almost at 5,000, which I think is pretty crazy. I mean, this is blown up beyond my wildest imagination. But yeah, honestly, thank you guys. Thank you. And it really does mean a lot. 184 of you are waiting for that new episode. I swear it's coming. But there will be some more content like this to, just sort of be there. Also, let me know how my mic sounds, because I'm kind of worried about not talking very. I was like listening to myself talk, and I sound very quiet, and I need to know if I still sound quiet, if I need to turn this up more, or if I sound good. So I've got this on mute, just because I don't want the music to be over while I'm talking. So yeah, now where do I start? Let's start with a thumbnail. I think that's a good place to start. Can I enlarge the thumbnail? That's also not what I needed to do. Okay, there we go. The thumbnail. This is pretty crazy. Actually, no, I don't want to talk about the thumbnail. I want to talk about the cast first. These 24 people. You may be thinking, are these actually your 24 favorite characters of BFDI? To that I say, no. These are most certainly not my 24 favorite characters. I know what it says, but here's some secret information. These are not my 24 favorite characters. But I included them here. This was, I only labeled it as 24 favorite characters just because I thought that sounded better. In reality, this is sort of like all of the characters I think deserved a better chance. Like Cake, Clock, who else? Lollipop. TV, characters who, of BFDI who I thought really could just be better. Like I feel like really deserved a second chance. Sort of, being a season. Like Fiery Jr., Balloony, Cloudy, both characters who got out extremely early in their respective seasons. Like Balloony was first out pre-split. Oh, jeez, post split. I'm sorry. And Cloudy was what, fourth out in Teapot. So Stapy, contestants who I feel like could have a little more. And then some of my favorites are here, like Price Tag. I like Price Tag. David's always great. You can't go wrong with David. Yeah, so just like people who I thought could really benefit from having another like a season to really come into their own. This show is not called Battle for Favorite Island because I thought that was kind of cringe. Because BFFI, I feel like that sounds like an acronym that's already taken. But yeah, 24th. Now, so by this time I had already written up to episode 2. Yeah, 2. And then the third and the fourth episode were just written. In the fifth episode, it's kind of, it's big. Sorry, I'm gonna stop yapping. But I mean, this is really gonna be a yap sesh, so this might be kind of boring to you. It's definitely not gonna get a whole lot. Never mind. The point is, we're here. Yeah. Also, the main point of this, which goes back to the thumbnail, which I can't. Can I enlarge that? It goes back to the thumbnail. I wanted to focus on characters who didn't really get a lot of focus. Like a Match. Match has always been there. Match never really feels like her own person. Like, it's always Pencil, and it's always Bubble. Like, Match has always gotten the short end of the stick every time, and whether that's to interesting writing decisions, she always feels like very secondary. Same with Fiery Jr. in especially TV. But I just wanted to give them all like a second chance kind of deal. Now, in case you're wondering, because you might be, these are bottles of olive oil on that's olive oil, and that's sort of a running gag through the episode. But let's just move on. So this balance beam, this classic balance beam challenge. I don't really know what to comment on other than this tan box. I feel like was really obnoxious. Because I wanted the announcer to have like his own big talking box to separate himself from the rest of the contestants. Because he's the host, he's the main guy. And I chose the announcer too because he's my favorite BFDI host. But I don't know. I feel like this tan box was really obnoxious, and that's why in the later episodes, okay, not there, but I got rid of it. And serious moments like this, between TV and remote. The tan box is gone, and it's gone through the rest of the episode. Funny enough, once the announcer leaves, which I will talk about when we get to episode 4. So yeah, back to this. Price Tag immediately falls off the balance beam. There wasn't really any direct reason why he immediately fell off the balance beam. I just kind of felt like it worked because I didn't really know what else to do with Price Tag. But yeah, it was really helpful because it could just be used as an example for the rest of the characters. Although I gotta be honest, on this screen, these 6 down here got really squished in their voting screens, and if I could go back and change that, I most definitely would. Now, in case you're curious, because you might be, this was entirely made on Canva, which is a really odd choice considering most of these are made on PowerPoint. I don't know why I chose to make it on Canva. No, I just did. I don't know. I haven't used PowerPoint to create one of these before, so I can't exactly say which one I would recommend over the other. But I have to say, considering it's taken me like 4 months, 3 months to make episode 5, Canva is kind of hard to use. But like in a good way. They like rolled out a new update, which like makes everything weird. But yeah. Anyway, back to this. Now by this point, I think I had already planned out what most of these characters would do. And aside from Loser, but we don't really talk about Loser. Lollipop would be lazy and mean. Bracelet and Ice Cube would do stuff. Cake would be lonely. Mash would be lonely. They would be lonely together. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to most of the weird friendships in this series when they form, and then Cloudy is immediately disqualified as well because he can fly. I thought that was fair. David grows a mustache when this is actually just his mouth being surprised, because he just shocked the beam and he's like, whoa, but it doesn't really look like that. He just looks like he has a weird mustache. I completely forget about Cloudy's accent, like in the future episodes too. I forgot he just uses S's and not Z's, which is not great. But yeah. Anyway. We have lots to talk about. Oh yeah, and then the one and only appearance of a smiley face ever, which is pretty odd. Okay, I'm gonna full screen it. See, and then I thought this was pretty neat with like a red X to have a neat little, because Canva lets you have like these funny little animations. So that's just what I did. Oh yeah, and then Yellowface actually acknowledges Taggy got eliminated, which is what? No way! Oh my gosh, Yellowface remembers someone. Alright, and then Winner and Yellowface are forming a pact with TV, which is this hasn't really been brought up again. I kind of forgot about this. And then Winner I forgot. So I don't know what happened, but in case you're wondering, another deep director, why am I calling, I don't know. Another deep cut is that most of the, I don't know why this is all in caps, most of the assets come from the BFDI wiki. So, if you want to create a show like this, everything comes from the BFDI wiki. And it's actually from the character galleries. So, the Winner gallery, for instance, if this would load. Yeah, there's just a bunch of assets of Winner, a bunch of poses of Winner. And the issue with Winner, I feel like, is that the poses are sometimes cut off really poorly, like this one, like the one I used, like it's cut off, which is really obnoxious because that's a pretty great like Winner talking, because he's just like, that's like a blank talking face. Kind of hard to find another neutral talking face, but yeah. So that's, in case you're curious of where I get all of the assets for the characters. That's where I get them. Yeah, and okay. David is of course walking across. I forgot to mention that, but at this point, right here, when Cloudy stops raging, David is shocked and he climbs under the balance beam. I'm finding it a lot harder to comment on this. I have seen this first episode like more than 10 times. And so it's kind of hard to add new stuff to it, because I feel like I've watched it so many times that I feel like it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I don't know, it's kind of hard to add new commentary to it. I don't know why Fiery Jr. was like excessively glazing fries, but I just thought that was pretty funny. All right, yeah. Sorry, I gotta be more. I add more intense commentary. Oh my gosh, look at what just happened. Whoa, the Fiery Jr. just threw Fanny and Lollipop, his future teammates. No. Yes, Donut and Fiery Jr. These two are gonna have some stuff. Spoilers for episode 5. you should skip ahead like a minute. No, not a minute, but like 45 seconds. But in the episode 5, Fiery Jr. and Donut get into a bit of a confrontation, and some stuff happens. Fiery Jr. may or may not get a pretty large piece of artillery that he amasses from Golf Ball's lab. Sorry, spoilers. Jeez, I am just really tired of making episode 5. It's taken so long, and I feel like there's so much stuff I want to talk about with that episode. But until that point, we've got to get to this point. So yeah, Fiery Jr. and Fry sort of have a friendship, and this is kind of sort of like the beta. The beta, they don't. Are they gonna get on? Is he gonna get on his head? Okay, well, Fiery Jr. later in the episode gets on top of Fry's head, and it's sort of like the beginning of like when Ice Cube would later do that with the Ice Cube and Fry's friendship. Because I feel like at this moment with Fiery Jr., riding around on Fries, he gets kind of sick of Fiery Jr. Because I don't know, Fiery Jr. he's kind of a mean person. He doesn't really respect other people, and I think that it matters to Fries' friendship matters a lot more when it's genuine, like with Ice Cube. Clock and Cake. I don't even know where I was going with this. I feel like they were supposed to apologize to each other in like episode 4, but that didn't happen. But yeah, Bracelety still doing Bracelety stuff. So yeah, I feel like this made sense. I don't know. I feel like Pens. I feel like certain characters should have different things that make them with them being alone and whatnot. Because I feel like most people are gonna be like, oh, I'm so alone, like with Pen and Teapot. But I don't know. I don't really know if it works well with Pen, particularly in Teapot. Like, I don't know. I feel like he complains a lot about not having any real friends, to Lai. And, it's just kind of weird. Or no, he complains about, like, Pencil taking Eraser from him or something dumb. I don't know. But, I don't know. I feel like he's got Tennis Ball on that team, who he's teamed with for all of Teapot. He has TV on that team, who he's teamed with for all of Teapot. So, I don't know. Anyway, these two. Oh, yeah, Clock talking about how how he's selfish, only cares about himself and winner and loser, I guess. Kay calling him out for that. Classic stuff. And then Balloony and Cloudy, I think it's been really interesting considering they were best friends and they haven't seen each other for like a gajillion years. And then, yeah, I don't know. Cloudy really. And then, Cloudy, I think he would be pretty mad once he realizes that his entire collection is still in the ocean. Is Cloudy's collection still in the ocean? Sorry, another detour. I feel like... Whoa, what is... Okay, that was weird, sorry. I feel like... Oh, geez, that's not what I meant to type. Okay, is this going to give me answers? Okay, so essentially Cloudy's collection is basically gone by that point, which is pretty sad considering he spent so many years building up that collection. I really hope that we get to see more of like the beginning of Cloudy's collection and how he wanted to collect things in IDFB. Oh yeah, and then they agreed to try and get someone out, and then that never happens. Classic me forgetting about important character moments. By the way, I really hated it in the first episode, but I fixed this later on. How the text does this weird inner loop thing, like right here, like with Balloony's text, like how like this weird, like almost like, in puzzles you have to like stick a puzzle piece in another puzzle piece. And you know what I'm talking about, like with those weird shapes. I really hated this and this never appears ever again in the rest of the series, and I hope it won't in the future. But yeah, this is just really awful. Also, I think it's pretty funny, but with this right here, you can tell that this and this line of dialogue are two separate text boxes that sort of mesh together because of you can't really tell because they're both, the highlight is black. Oh, there's another. I don't know why Cloudy apparently liked to use faces a lot. He's the only one who's used these emoticon faces, and I completely forgot he does that. And then these two, these two are still. You have this talk between Cloudy, because it's like these two. They haven't seen each other they have to see each other in the Teapot Hotel, but they haven't seen each other. They haven't really talked, is my point, in a long time. And then these two also haven't talked in a long time, but they're friends still. And these two who are not, and then it goes back to these two having not. So it's just kind of that comparison. But I feel like this scene should have happened after this scene. But yeah. Oh yeah, and this atrocious puzzle piece looking font. Oh, in the future, this gets like stretched out to the entire screen. And then clock gets out. Whoa. And this is, oh my gosh, who's it gonna be? Oh my gosh, it was Fiery Jr. riding on top of Fries. Oh, this kind of reminds me of something that would happen in the future between Fries and Ice Cube. Alright, and then Fiery Jr., he gets a little too cocky, and then Fries throws him out. But then, Fiery Jr. accidentally lit the balance beam on fire. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Cake, this has a yellow bracelet, but I have to say, Cake has a lot of really good images in his gallery of him just being really sad. Which, I don't know, which, for a character who isn't really portrayed as being sad a lot of the time, I don't know, that's still, important. But anyway, moving on. Oh my gosh, what happened here? Can I go frame by frame? I'm not gonna go frame by frame. I'm just gonna try to. Okay, can I? Okay. Wait, hold on. Bear with me. I'm gonna get the frame. Okay, wait. Shoot, I wasn't ready. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh, I missed it. Okay, the point is, it's the asset of Fries with the fire falling at once. You guys didn't need to know that. All right, moving on. Sorry, I'm finding it very hard to really commentate on this. Other than I guess people getting turned into their assets whenever they die to the fire. Oh, I feel like I should have clarified this. Another point that it's only the final 4 people on the balance beam who are actually going to become team leaders. It's not just only one person left. I hate this. I don't like this. Bracelet just being on top of the fire, and the fire isn't even connected to the balance beam. Like, that's so ugly. I mean, I feel like, okay, let me know in the comments if you made it this far. Go into the comments and type the code word banana with a capital A, all capital A's of the word banana, only capital A's, and let me know if episode 1 should get a remaster. I mean, maybe in the future. I don't know. This is kind of buns. I was also going to read what the characters are saying and their voices, but I don't know if I should really do that. I'm not. Should we be worried about that? Or yeah, I can't do Balloony. I'll see. Let me see. Can I do Cloudy? No worries. I will fly above the. Okay, I can't do Cloudy. Oh well. Wow, thanks, Cloudy. Yeah, it's gone bad. Oh my days, it's this scene. It's this long arc between TV, remote, and tree that's still going on. That's like a major plot point. The only reason I've done this is because I don't want TV to just get eliminated right off the bat because, he has to do stuff. I feel like TV has a lot of potential as a character. He's not, the Teapot crew, especially Sam, just don't like TV. I don't know. I feel like after Teapot 11, when the swap came, I feel like they just stopped caring about TV. The J&J crew, which is kind of sad because, I still really like TV, but And then Sapey, that's some corny line. And then Tree, who's kind of, I don't know why I made Tree racist, but I don't know. Moving on. All right. Yeah. Oh, I did the thing. I did the thing with the puzzle pieces. Yeah, this is a terrible video. I am so sorry. You know what? Should we do something else? I feel like we should do something else. How long has this recording gone on for? 25 minutes. 25 minutes, and I'm 6 minutes into the episode. Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay, we gotta speed this up. Quality, not quality. Playback speed. Okay, hurry this up. Oh my gosh, Stapy's talking. This drama is so real. Okay, bye, Stapy. No, not Stapy. Oh, come on. Hold on. Come on. Oh, hold on. Sorry, this is 2x speed. Hold on. Come on, remote. Let's leave. That's a pretty clever pun. That was me snapping, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Very clever pun. I know, you might be thinking, Shady Man, such a clever pun maker. And to that I say, yes, I am. Now I don't really know what commentary I could give onto this with Tree being mean against robots. I feel like, especially with the knowledge of episodes 1B, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 to an extent. I feel like this is all pretty self-explanatory. What's going on? TV and Tree. TV doesn't really like Tree after Teapot 17, and Tree doesn't really like TV after Teapot 17. I mean, they just don't like each other. Their TV likes Remote though. Remote doesn't really know how to feel after Tree's actions. Oh, hey, I hand drew that. That's how you know. That's how you know. Squiggly lines. All right. Oh, edible. Oh my. Okay. Foreshadowing. Have you ever wanted to eat a chair? Guys, this eating a chair thing comes into play later this episode and 1B. Now, obviously, this is split up to 1A, 1B, because, BFDI, 1A and 1B. But also, I can't pull it up on here. But originally, I was also going to split what BFDI 1A and BFDI 1B. Like, I was going to merge them together for BFDI 1. Well, that's my 24 favorite characters. They just won one big episode. I was going to do that until I kind of messed everything up. And so the music got distorted, and I didn't really want to work on it anymore. So yeah. So this is like the only real recording of this episode that's still in existence. So this entire slideshow, because it's all Canva slideshow, because it's like a video slideshow, and this is all just gone. It's pretty crazy. I also did these weird close-ups, which I don't think are very good looking. I mean, I think with the text being the same color as TV screen, TV coming with kind of breaking the fourth wall with being over the announcer's dialogue box. I don't know. This is kind of not my favorite. It happens a couple other times, throughout the series, and I'll bring it up at that point. Yeah, definitely not my favorite. Yeah, Balloony falls off the balance beam here. He slips on this water droplet. I don't know. What am I doing? What am I doing anymore? I feel like I'm just narrating the episode. I'm describing what happens. I'm like doing the average Netflix show thing where the characters just describe the plot to the dot about what's happening because Netflix thinks that people are on their phones or something. But yeah, this is. Oh dear, I feel like I'm not providing much. I don't feel like I'm providing good commentary. Like let me know if I'm providing good reaction commentary. I think this was definitely this was a mistake reacting to my own content. Honestly, this is so okay. I'm gonna speed through this. What else do we really need to talk about? Let's talk about Pen first. I have wanted to eliminate Pen, and I have wanted to eliminate Loser since episode 2. I wanted Penn gone, and I have wanted Winner gone, because they do not provide anything to the plot. Don't vote them out because of that reason. If you want to vote them out because they're boring characters or whatever. But yeah, I have, Penn gets a pretty big episode in episode 5. Winner doesn't. I guess I think Winner gets a big episode. Everyone gets a big episode except for Bracelety. But Loser. Let's talk about Loser. Loser has done essentially nothing the entire series. He's been a background character. He's just kind of there. I think it helps that his team hasn't been up for elimination yet. Emphasis on yet. It really helps Loser's case. His team hasn't been up for elimination yet. But Lord Voldemort Pez Dispenser. What was I thinking? I don't know what I was doing making Loser a pretend gag character. But I don't know. He's like in rehab or something, because he feels pretty bad because everyone hates him or something. Because I know there was one guy, maybe it's either in this episode's comments section or it was someone else, a different comment section. Yeah, just want a bit of Loser development, because Loser is meant to be canceled, And I kind of sort of haven't given Loser development. So sorry. But hey, episode 5, I've kind of given a lot of spoilers about it, but hey, stuff is going to happen in episode 5. Match. Okay, so in Match's head, this is in her head. She is trying to hype herself up to go and talk to Penn and Pin. Because, Match, she's been on the Squishy Cherries with both of them. They have that kind of connection. But Match is trying to increase her public reputation, her PR. Because people don't really like her that much. I really don't know if in the actual BFDI universe, if people just generally dislike Match, or if people are just kind of neutral to her. But I feel like people mostly dislike Match. She's trying to get that back, and really try to branch out and talk to more people instead of just her alliance. Because I feel like Match needs to be more than just a one-dimensional pencil follower. But yeah. Alright, what else? What else is going to happen? Okay, hold on. I did not realize I spelt high wrong. That's kind of embarrassing. I spelled high with a Y. On one hand, that's a very match thing to do. Also, I spelled high wrong. That's kind of embarrassing. So it's kind of like an awkward silence. We get talking. Penn's kind of weirded out, oh, it's Match. Pin doesn't like Match, and she starts talking to Loser, and Loser falls off the balance beam. More awkward silence. And yeah, they just die. I know Ice Cube is shown to be right here, and then fire is shown, but Ice Cube doesn't actually melt to that fire. She kills herself later. Oh, wait. Yeah, now she kills herself. Okay. Anyway, moving on. This was meant to be a running gag. I don't know if people caught on to it. Cause I don't know if I continued this running gag, but I wanted every I that Bracelety made to be a lowercase I. Intentionally a lowercase I. I don't remember if I continued this running joke. I don't want to go and check. I don't think I did. I think I forgot about that. But yeah, originally a running joke would be that all of Bristlety's eyes would be lowercase. Oh, remote! Remote! We're blocked by the fire! Hold on, I want to voice this scene. Alright. Alright, let me try my hardest. Remote! We're blocked in by the fire and stuck with him. Says the no. Okay, wait. Time for your tyranny to end. Hold on. There we go. Okay. here's an audio test. Tell me, do you hear this? Type yes in the comment section if you hear this.
It's time for your tyranny to end, tree. It's time for your tyranny to end, tree. It's time for your tyranny to end, tree.
Yeah, so go and type with that banana, with the capital A that I told you to type earlier. Type a yes if you could hear the audio. Type a no if you can't. That'd be pretty helpful because I need to get. This is a test for my OBS because I'm gonna be doing big reaction content too because I don't know because I need other content. And on the 8th, on 1/8/2026, when BFDI E2 releases, I'm gonna react to that too, pretty quickly. All right. I'm not going to do the rest of the voices unless I want to. You know, I wouldn't be going against the pact if I kill you, since you're just a robot anyway, not a real life form. I don't like how Tree is... This part of Tree is being clipped behind a TV, in case you didn't know. I don't like that. That's not great. I also don't know why Yellowface is so happy. He's about to die. I don't want it. I'm not going to put that into the text to speech. Gah! And tree kill. Okay, it's pretty big. It's like the biggest moment for a while. Tree. Okay, wait. Why is this not pausing? Okay. Tree kills TV. You know, David is still under here. Big foreshadowing ever since the episode started. Tree kills TV. This is probably the biggest thing to happen in the beginning for the first 5 episodes, not counting episode 5. You know, 1A, 1B, 2, 3, and 4. Biggest thing to happen. Tree kills TV. I mean, it's up there with Lollipop being disintegrated into glitchy dust, but this is big. This is pretty big. You know, even Remote's shocked. Like, everyone's shocked. You know, because TV, he goes against the pact to kill TV. TV is most definitely a life form, I would say. Well, 8 people remain. Only 4 can win. Only 4 more people have to get out. I wonder who it'll be. Okay. What was that? Well, hold on. Lose. Okay. What was that for? You only had to push him off, not straight up murder him. So that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. I'm sorry. Oh, seriously? I'm sorry. I'm gonna retire. David, thank God you're here! Kitwin and Yellowface, they were talking about how stupid you are. And then I don't know why, he doesn't say "aw, seriously." Oh, funny enough, when David says "aw, seriously," he does his PNG doesn't change to, you know, the normal David with the mouth saying "aw, seriously." Another thing to point out. Yeah, I'm doing really bad commentary. How long has this gone on for? It's almost been 40. No, there's no way it's almost been 40 minutes of me yapping. Okay, yeah, hold on. This has been an 8-minute video. This has gone on for 40 minutes. I'm so sorry. This isn't fair. Come on. Okay, wait. This isn't fair. Come on, David. It was Tree all along. Oh, this is the edible chair Yellowface was talking about, by the way. The same edible chair that he uses to kill Fiery Jr. in episode 1B. And Remote's over here trying to talk to Tree, but, you know, he doesn't really care. I don't really want to say all that. No! Okay. No! Wait. No! I can't. Okay. No! Please, David, don't do this! Yeah, okay. Maybe this is why I didn't get any of those auditions for Cloudy Mation's BFB. Anyway. And the Remote, I wouldn't really consider this going against the pact because she's not killing Tree, but, you know, she takes it into her own hands to take out Tree and push him off the balance beam. And then he kind of drags Remote down with him, but Remote just forgives him. David's like, what's going on? That's kind of weird. So, you know, naturally, oh, wait, hold on. We have to talk about this. Where is... Okay, hold on. Okay. wow, that particular end of the beam is having a lot of stuff take place. Essentially, this may not seem like anything, but this is essentially why the announcer is focusing on only one side of the balance beam and not the other side, which has bracelety donut, golf ball, and they're talking about stuff. But we don't get to see that because he doesn't think that's important enough. And then Yellowface, being Yellowface, throws the chair at David, knocking him off the balance beam. So donut, golf ball, bracelety, and the Yellowface get to choose the teams, and that is that. And Fire Jr. Soggy, he wants to crush the announcer speaker thing. So okay, well, I'll talk about, there's a lot of cut content in this series, especially with Fire Jr. He wasn't always meant to be the brain rot kid, saying, oh, I wrote Fortnite Battle Pass on my test. He actually used to be like a complete jerk. He was actually supposed to push cake off of a platform in the second episode. Like full on just push cake. And he was also supposed to ride on top of Fries more, but then I switched that to Fries and Ice Cube being better friends. And Fiery Jr. becoming more brain rot. But but yeah. He has a big episode in episode 5, like Tree does. And Remote in the announcers. Anyway. Okay. The end. Oh, I wonder what the surprise is. So yeah, Bracelety talks about how she won't aggressively drink olive oil at midnight in front of my framed Ice Cube photo in my basement. That's kind of weird. This is essentially why I'm just gonna. That's embarrassing. This is essentially why. So many ads. Jeez. Okay. Whoa, I have a notification from. Oh, hey, it's this guy. All right. Anyway, shout out to this guy. This guy, he says my stuff is peak, but really his stuff is peak. Let's be honest. Anyway, that's why the title frame right here has bottles of olive oil, because Ice Cube is aggressively drinking olive oil. And that's why there's olive oil. So, in case you were wondering why there's random olive oil. However, if we actually look at the end credits, because I'm skipping all of this because this is not important. I'll talk about this a little more, I guess. Bracelety, she doesn't really abide by that. She's still at the bar drinking olive oil. Where is the voting screen? Okay, the voting screen. Most of these are the teapot images, except for match, but that was a pretty good match one. And then if I couldn't find a cartoony image for a character, then they just got an IDFB, which is the best I could do. So yeah, that was the entire episode. But before we get to that, I want to know if this sounds good, because I'm going to do this as well. Okay, yeah, hurry up. Okay, I need you guys to know if you can still hear me over this game's music. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit too. Settings, audio. Apply. That's too quiet. Okay. Can you still hear me over this game's audio? Then you guys let me know. Speaking of, FNAF World refreshed. Recently got an update. I started playing through it. And I was thinking about doing a Nuzlocke of this game. Just in one go. Recording it, editing it, and releasing that. So tell me in the comments below, along with the banana, with the capital A's, which you most definitely type in the comments below, right guys? And the yes, I want you to type the word computer if you think that I should play this game with upload it to the channel. I'm stuttering, this is bad. But if you don't want me to do that, then type the word computer 4. I mean, like the number 4, like not the word, the number. God, what am I doing? Okay. Anyway, that's that. I wasted 45 minutes of your life. If you made it this far, then go to the comments and type in the word scooper. Yeah, scooper. 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 If you made it this far into the video. And subscribe if you haven't liked the video. Yeah, remember, most importantly, is my audio good? That's what I need to know the most. Yeah, anyway, that's the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around.